Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In the words of surrealist Rene Magritte, these are not sunglasses. This is not the Mona Lisa. And this conversation between me, you, and him, this is art.
But it's not just any kind of art, it's the most important kind of art, the kind of art that breaks tradition in order to form new ones. This type of art is vital to the evolution of artistic culture, because every time you see a fresh take on an art form, you may be catching a glimpse of the future, a hint of the direction that entire medium is headed in.
Today, we will talk about two art forms we have seen during the semester that are revolutionary and break all the rules of its root traditional art form.
We'll be analyzing the two performances that we thought best embodied revolutionary art. First, we'll speak about Alvin Ailey and the evolution of modern dance, and then we'll discuss Pitbulls and its take on dramatic performance.
First, let's talk dance. In order to understand why Alvin Ailey is revolutionary, we need to understand what he is revolting against. While dance has existed as long as humans can shuffle their feet, one particular type of dance that has dominated a decent amount of human history is ballet. Beginning in the mid-15th century, in only 100 years, ballet has become so prominent and widely admired that it was being performed on stages across Europe. The popularity of ballet continued to soar throughout the centuries and had reached a point where people began to recognize famous performances such as the Nutcracker and Swan Lake. Ballet is highly focused on recognizing the beauty in classical technique, such as point work, high extensions, and turnouts.
Conversely, Alvin Ailey, a globally acknowledged choreographer and leader of the modern dance movement, only created his company in 1958, yet his style of dance has risen and continued its rise to prominence even after his death in 1989. The differences between ballet and Ailey's interpretation of modern dance are numerous, but we will focus on just a few. Firstly, the music accompanying modern dance performance is not limited to a classical orchestra. Rather, all types of music have been paired with dance, from pop to alternative to, as we saw, Jewish hymns. Also, while costumes must be lavish and sets elaborate in ballet, modern dance can just as readily be performed on a barren stage in a simple outfit, allowing the audience to truly focus on the dancer's movements, as it can in an opulent ballet-like fashion. For example, in Ailey's performance we saw at Fall for Dance, the only props were metal folding chairs, and every dancer's costume was a basic business suit and hat.
Finally, let's talk about the differences in movement between the two types of dance. It was ballet's rigid, highly technical aspects that prompted the evolution of modern dance. Modern dance choreographers wanted to focus on the emotions conveyed by dancers. Movement could be erratic, fluid, slow, fast, and yet impressive, just like ballet, all while conveying something more human, something more relatable to the viewers watching.
Let's move on to theater and Pitbulls. Plays have been put on since the Grecian Age, with the first ever stage performance being dated to before 500 BC. This play had a single speaking role, the protagonist, and a chorus of over 50 singers to explain his story to the audience. As time went on, the play became infinitely more complex, and a few playwrights have truly carved their niche into history. As a point of comparison, let's discuss the best-known playwright of all time, Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare, perhaps the most famous writer in the history of the English language, was born in 1564 and died in 1616. His plays have carried through the test of time. He is known to have written 37 plays and 154 works that we know of. Shakespeare, unlike some of the modern theater, had some dirty subliminal messages within his plays. This is radically different from the performance of Pitbulls, where the use of foul language was presented outright, and was used to make a statement.
Another huge difference between the early theater movement and modern theater was the size and layout of the venue. In its earliest form, theater was one of the main forms of entertainment and needed to have a venue that could support so many people. The amphitheaters held thousands of people for every performance, while modern theaters at most hold a few hundred. With the creation of inventions such as television and the internet, people feel that the theater is now a more intimate setting. Performances such as Pitbulls exemplify this by having no more than 50 people in the theater and a relatively small cast. Finally, a third key difference is Pitbull's lack of a simple conflict resolution plot, as well as an ending that isn't exactly tragic, happy, or even cathartic as classical plays are. Okay, and now we'd like to welcome a special guest onto the show, Michael Henchy. Michael Henchy, can you please take a seat? Michael Henchy is the mastermind behind his masterpiece, Searching for Water in New York City. And my question to you, Mike, is how does it feel to know that your revolutionary artwork was panned by critics in my seminar class?
Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Picasso's Starry Night are just two examples of the many, many forms of art that have been made obsolete by my work. Look, it's a very emotionally challenging, trying piece to take in, so it doesn't surprise me that some of you sheep have reacted so poorly to it. But I have to say that, if you can just, step out of your very, very, very limited experience and kind of imagine what it would be like to be such a refined intellectual as myself, you will be able to appreciate it for its true brilliance.
Thank you,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Thank you.